Listen carefully. Wealth is not an accident. Success is not luck. Riches do not come to people who sit, wait, complain, and blame the world. Money follows a certain kind of mind, and if your mind is programmed with fear, excuses, and small thinking, you will remain exactly where you are no matter how hard you work. The greatest limitation you will ever face is not the economy, not your background, not your education. It is the way you think. If you believe money is hard to get, it will be hard to get. If you believe opportunity belongs to others, it will never belong to you. If you see problems instead of possibilities, you will live in struggle instead of success. You cannot get rich with a poor mindset. Most people are financially weak not because they lack ability, but because they lack belief. They talk themselves out of greatness every single day. They say, "I don't have enough time." They say, "I wasn't born lucky." They say, "Rich people are different." And with those words, they lock the door to their own future. Understand this, your thoughts are instructions. Whatever you repeat in your mind becomes your reality. If you think small, you will live small. If you think in limits, you will live in limits. But the moment you change your thinking, you change your life. Rich thinking is disciplined thinking. The world rewards focus, not excuses. The average person drifts through life hoping something will change. The successful person makes a decision and forces change to happen. That is the difference. Wealth is built by people who decide what they want and refuse to accept anything less. You cannot get rich if you are addicted to comfort. Comfort makes people weak. Growth requires pressure. Opportunity demands courage. Big rewards come only to those who are willing to do what others are too afraid to do. Stop waiting for the perfect moment. There is no perfect moment. There is only now. The person who hesitates remains poor. The person who acts becomes powerful. Another dangerous way of thinking is believing that money is evil. That belief has kept millions trapped in mediocrity. Money is not evil. Poverty is not noble. Money is simply a tool, and the mind that respects it will attract it. If you secretly hate wealth, wealth will stay away from you. You cannot get rich if you fear risk. Every great fortune was built by someone who dared to step forward when others stepped back. Playing safe will never make you wealthy. Avoiding risk will never change your life. The biggest risk of all is living your whole life afraid to take one. Fortunes are created by bold decisions followed by relentless action. Dreaming without doing is daydreaming. Planning without acting is pretending. Talking without working is useless noise. Only disciplined action turns ideas into income. Most people also think they need perfect conditions before they begin. That is a poor person's mindset. The successful build with what they have, from where they are, starting right now. They do not wait for easy roads. They create their own path. If you think like the crowd, you will live like the crowd. The crowd is broke. The crowd complains. The crowd follows comfort. If you want uncommon wealth, you must develop uncommon thinking. You must guard your mind from negativity, doubt, and small ambitions. Your daily habits are either making you richer or keeping you poor. There is no middle ground. Every hour you waste, every excuse you make, every fear you obey pushes success further away. But every disciplined action, every focused hour, every bold decision pulls wealth closer. Understand this powerful truth. Money flows to the person who is mentally prepared to receive it. Opportunities search for the individual who is ready to act. Success is not chasing you. You must chase it. So from this moment forward, think differently. Stop saying you cannot afford things. Start asking how you can afford them. Stop seeing obstacles and start seeing strategies. Stop fearing failure and start fearing a life without achievement. Train your mind to expect victory. Condition yourself to demand excellence. Speak in possibilities, not problems. Walk with certainty, not hesitation. Because in the end, riches are not created by lucky people. They are created by focused minds, disciplined habits, and unbreakable determination. You can change your financial future. You can rise above every limitation. You can become more than you have ever been. But it begins with a decision to think like a champion instead of a victim. Make that decision today. Refuse to think small. Refuse to live small. Refuse to accept an ordinary life, and remember this as long as you live. You will never get rich thinking like someone who expects to stay poor. Change your thinking, and you will change your destiny. Poverty begins in the mind long before it appears in the wallet. The outer world only mirrors the inner world. What you believe becomes what you build. Weak thoughts create fragile lives. Strong thoughts create powerful results. Most people wait for conditions to change, but the few who win change their thinking first. Wealth is never an accident. Success is never a surprise. Victory grows from disciplined imagination and relentless daily action. Every achievement begins as a decision inside the human mind. That decision must be clear, bold, fearless, and immediate, without delay or doubt or hesitation or compromise ever. The way you think about money decides how money will think about you. If you see life as unfair, you will live like a victim. If you see opportunity everywhere, doors will open in unexpected places. The mind of a poor person searches for excuses. The mind of a rich builder searches for solutions. Complaining has never created a single fortune. Blaming circumstances has never produced a single breakthrough. Only focused thought mixed with courageous labor changes the direction of destiny, and the condition of a life that refuses to settle for average results or average dreams or average effort. You cannot rise above the level of your daily thinking. Small thoughts build small incomes. Careless habits build painful futures. Many people secretly fear success because it demands responsibility. They say they want more, yet they behave like people who expect less. The world rewards those who prepare in silence and work with intensity. Dreams without discipline are only empty wishes. Plans without action are only decorations on the walls of imagination. The marketplace pays for value delivered not for intentions loudly announced to unimpressed strangers who owe you nothing at all in the arena of competition and relentless change. Fear is the silent enemy of prosperity. Doubt steals more futures than failure ever will. The majority waits for perfect conditions that never arrive. The minority begins before they feel ready. Action creates confidence. Delay creates poverty. Every hour wasted in hesitation becomes a brick in the wall of limitation. Courage is not the absence of uncertainty, but the mastery of it. Opportunities respect speed and obedience to bold decisions. Great fortunes are built by men and women who refuse to ask permission from timid crowds and nervous relatives, who never attempted anything remarkable or daring or new or uncomfortable. Another dangerous way of thinking is believing that wealth belongs only to the lucky. Luck favors the prepared mind. Money flows toward people who respect it and understand its purpose. Poverty grows where money is feared or misunderstood. The disciplined saver and the intelligent investor move steadily ahead, while the careless spender remains trapped on a financial treadmill of worry and regret. What you do with small amounts reveals exactly what you would do with large fortunes. Character decides capacity. Responsibility attracts opportunity. The future belongs to those who prepare for it today with patience, persistence, humility, and self-control. You cannot get rich while protecting every comfort and avoiding every risk. Safety is often the most expensive prison a person can choose. Growth demands discomfort. Progress requires bold experiments. The crowd searches for easy paths and guaranteed outcomes. The exceptional individual learns to walk uncertain roads with faith and preparation. Great rewards belong to those who are willing to be misunderstood for a season. Temporary sacrifice creates permanent advantage. Discipline today produces freedom tomorrow. The price of success must be paid in advance with effort, sweat, study, persistence, and emotional control, repeated day after day without excuses, without complaints. Most failures are not caused by lack of talent or lack of opportunity. They are caused by weak habits repeated for many careless years. The person who refuses to manage time will never manage wealth. The person who cannot control impulses will never control empires. Little choices shape large destinies. Reading instead of wasting hours strengthens the financial future. Saving instead of spending builds power and options and confidence. Speaking with purpose instead of gossip builds respect. These simple actions, repeated without drama, create results that appear magical to those who refuse to practice them with consistency, seriousness, and pride. Decide today to think like a builder of fortunes and not like a prisoner of circumstances. Guard the gates of your mind with fierce determination. Reject every negative suggestion and every small expectation. Speak only of possibilities and preparation. Act with urgency and intelligent direction. Surround yourself with disciplined dreamers who demand excellence, measure progress by results instead of excuses. The future belongs to those who train their thoughts for victory and refuse to surrender to fear, laziness, doubt, or delay, and who rise early, work hard, learn constantly, adjust, quickly serve greatly, save wisely, invest bravely, persist patiently, and build. The way you think about money determines the way money behaves toward you. Money is not only paper and numbers. It is energy, movement, opportunity, and possibility. It responds to attitudes the same way a mirror responds to a face. If you approach wealth with fear, hesitation, and confusion, it will stay distant from your hands. If you approach it with confidence, discipline, and intelligence, it will move steadily toward your life. Most people never become rich because they never develop a rich way of thinking. They carry small beliefs and then wonder why they live small lives. Your financial world is shaped first in your imagination. Long before a person becomes wealthy, they must learn to think like a wealthy person. Poverty does not begin in the bank account. It begins in the mind. The man who constantly says he can never afford anything builds invisible walls around his future. The woman who believes opportunity is only for others shuts the door on her own potential. Money listens to the language you speak every day. Weak words create weak results. Powerful thoughts create powerful income and powerful direction. Most failures with money come from wrong mental habits. People spend emotionally instead of thinking strategically. They blame the economy instead of improving their skills. They wait for miracles instead of creating value. The world does not pay for excuses. The world pays for solutions. When you train your mind to search for answers instead of reasons to quit, you begin to attract better chances and better rewards. Wealth respects the person who respects preparation and effort and intelligent planning carried out with patience and persistence. You cannot grow rich while thinking like someone who expects to remain poor. The average mind is filled with fear of risk. It is filled with comfort addiction and safe small dreams. But great fortunes are not built inside comfort zones. They are built by people who dare to believe bigger than their surroundings. Every successful individual first changed their thinking before they changed their income. They stopped seeing money as something to chase and started seeing money as something to attract through value and service and smart decisions. Discipline is the bridge between desire and financial success. Wanting more is not enough. Hoping for better is not enough. Real wealth grows from controlled habits repeated daily without fail. The person who cannot manage a small salary will never manage a large one. The individual who wastes hours will also waste opportunities. Money flows toward organized minds and organized lives. It avoids chaos, laziness, and careless thinking. Prosperity loves structure and responsibility and calm, intelligent action taken day after day with serious intent. Another dangerous belief is thinking that money is evil or unimportant. That idea has kept millions trapped in unnecessary struggle. Money is simply a tool. In wise hands, it creates freedom and progress. In foolish hands, it disappears quickly. If you secretly resent wealth, you will unconsciously push it away. If you respect wealth and learn its rules, it will become your loyal servant. The mind that understands this truth steps into a different level of living where opportunity appears more often and problems become easier to solve. Fear destroys more financial futures than any lack of education. Many people are terrified to invest in themselves, terrified to start a business, terrified to leave the crowd. They choose safety and call it wisdom. But playing safe all your life is the most expensive risk of all. Growth demands courage. Wealth requires bold decisions backed by steady action. The person who waits for perfect conditions waits forever. The person who begins with what they have moves ahead of the timid majority and never looks back. Your daily habits are speaking constantly to your financial destiny. Every choice either pulls you closer to prosperity or pushes you deeper into limitation. Saving a little instead of wasting a lot builds strength. Learning new skills instead of killing time builds power. Thinking before spending builds control. These small acts may seem ordinary, but repeated over years, they create extraordinary results. The rich are not magical people. They simply practice better mental and financial habits with greater consistency and focus. Stop thinking like a spectator of success and start thinking like a creator of success. Replace doubts with plans. Replace complaints with action. Replace procrastination with urgency. Decide to master your thoughts about money instead of being ruled by them. Train your mind to see possibilities where others see obstacles. Teach yourself to move forward even when you feel uncertain. Confidence grows only through action, and wealth follows the confident and prepared thinker who refuses to surrender to fear or public opinion. From this moment forward, treat your mind as the headquarters of your fortune. Feed it with strong ideas and disciplined expectations. Speak about money with respect and purpose. Plan your financial life with seriousness and vision. Understand that every rich life was built first with rich thinking. The moment you change your inner conversation about wealth, you begin to change the direction of your entire existence. Money does not follow need. It follows clear thinking, firm decisions, valuable skills, persistent effort, and a mind that absolutely refuses to remain small or frightened or limited or average, but rises daily with determination to build a better, stronger, richer future through focused thought and fearless action and unbreakable belief in what is possible. Excuses are the seeds of failure. Discipline is the soil of wealth. Every life grows from one of these two forces. The moment a person chooses excuses, they choose weakness, delay, and defeat. The moment a person chooses discipline, they choose power, progress, and prosperity. Not, being in this world is neutral. Your daily decisions are either building your future or destroying it. Success never asks for explanations. It only responds to action. The marketplace does not reward intentions. It rewards performance carried out with consistency and seriousness. Most people talk about what they plan to do someday. Winners talk less and execute more. The average mind searches for reasons why something cannot be done. The disciplined mind searches for ways to make it happen. Excuses are easy to manufacture. Anyone can create them. They require no courage, no effort, no responsibility. Discipline, on the other hand, demands strength of character. It demands focus when distractions scream for attention. It demands commitment when motivation disappears and when comfort tries to steal your ambition. Every poor result in life has an excuse standing behind it. People say they are too tired, too busy, too unlucky, too young, too old, too late. These words sound harmless, but they quietly destroy futures. They turn capable men and women into spectators of their own potential. Discipline refuses to accept such language. Discipline wakes up early even when the body wants to sleep. Discipline works when feelings beg for rest. Discipline saves money when temptation says spend it. Discipline studies while others waste precious hours. The difference between who you are and who you could become is hidden inside your habits. Talent alone will not make you rich. Dreams alone will not change your circumstances. Only daily structured effort produces real transformation. A small disciplined action repeated every day is more powerful than 1,000 good intentions that never leave the mind. Fortunes are not built in moments of inspiration. They are built in long seasons of quiet self-control where ordinary days are used in extraordinary ways. Excuses always sound reasonable to the person making them. That is why they are so dangerous. They feel justified, they feel comfortable. But comfort is the enemy of achievement. The world does not care why you failed. It only notices results. The disciplined individual understands this truth and acts without waiting for perfect conditions. Rain or sunshine, mood or no mood, problems or no problems, the work gets done. That steady rhythm of effort separates the leaders from the dreamers. You cannot negotiate with success. It has strict rules. It demands preparation. It demands sacrifice. It demands that you do what is necessary instead of what is easy. Those who build wealth learn to control impulses. They learn to manage time with respect. They learn to finish what they start. Excuses keep a person trapped in the same year, repeated again and again. Discipline moves a person forward into new levels of income, confidence, and opportunity. Look closely at every successful life and you will find a pattern. Behind the visible achievements stand years of invisible discipline. Hours of study when no one was watching. Effort when quitting would have been easier. Patience when results were slow. Control when emotions were loud. These habits created the foundation on which success could stand. Weak people admire results. Strong people admire the discipline that produced those results and then decide to copy it in their own lives. The mind that tolerates excuses becomes weak and unreliable. It learns to lie to itself. It becomes comfortable with delay and mediocrity. But the mind trained in discipline becomes sharp and dependable. It finishes tasks. It keeps promises. It follows plans. Money, opportunity, and respect move naturally toward such a person. Life gives more to those who prove they can be trusted with more. Responsibility attracts reward. Reliability attracts promotion. Self-control attracts financial power. Many wait for motivation to begin. Discipline does not wait. It acts first and lets motivation follow. The disciplined person understands that feelings change, but commitments must. Remain firm. They build routines that carry them forward even on difficult days. They understand that every hour invested wisely is a brick placed in the structure of future freedom. While others complain about circumstances, they quietly improve themselves and become stronger than their environment. Excuses shrink a life little by little until it becomes small and limited. Discipline expands a life until it becomes large and influential. One path leads to regret. The other leads to respect. Every morning you stand at a crossroads between these two choices. No one can choose for you. No one can do the work for you. The decision is personal and immediate and unavoidable. Either you command your habits or your habits will command you. Understand this clearly. The world belongs to the disciplined. It does not belong to the most educated, the most connected, or the most fortunate. It belongs to those who keep going when others stop. It belongs to those who finish what they begin. It belongs to those who refuse to hide behind comfortable stories and convenient explanations. Great futures are purchased with daily effort, paid in full, without complaint, and without delay, and without fear, and without retreat, and without surrender to any voice that whispers the easy language of excuses, while opportunity waits patiently for the rare individual who chooses discipline again and again and again. Small thinking creates small income. Bold thinking creates opportunity. The size of your life will always be measured by the size of your thoughts. People do not remain poor because they lack chances. They remain poor because they think too small to recognize chances when they appear. The mind that expects little receives little. The mind that dares to imagine greatly attracts paths that ordinary people never notice. Wealth and success never visit the timid imagination. They follow the individual who trains himself to think beyond limits and beyond fear and beyond the narrow borders of average expectation. Most people plan their future with the same weak thinking that created their past. They want bigger results but refuse to build bigger ideas. They dream carefully instead of dreaming courageously. They ask for safety instead of asking for possibility. Small thinking whispers that risks are dangerous, that competition is frightening, that opportunities are rare. Bold thinking declares that growth is necessary, that challenges are invitations, that the world is filled with unclaimed rewards waiting for prepared minds and determined hearts. Your income will never outgrow your mindset. If you see yourself as ordinary, you will earn ordinary money. If you see yourself as limited, you will live within limits. The world treats you exactly the way your thinking instructs it to treat you. Those who expect to struggle usually find plenty of reasons to struggle. Those who expect to win usually find a way to win. The difference is not luck. The difference is mental courage. Bold thinkers create larger futures because they refuse to accept the boundaries that small thinkers obey without question. Opportunities are not gifts handed out at random. They are attracted by vision. When a person expands his thinking, he expands his world. New ideas begin to appear. New connections begin to form. New possibilities rise up from places that once looked empty. The timid mind walks through life seeing only obstacles. The bold mind walks through the same life seeing stepping stones. The marketplace rewards those who bring confidence and creativity and determination to every problem that needs a solution. Small thinkers spend their days worrying about what might go wrong. Bold thinkers spend their days planning what can go right. Fear makes a person defensive. Courage makes a person inventive. The man who is afraid to dream big is already defeated before he begins. The woman who dares to think boldly is already moving toward victory even before the first result appears. Every fortune that exists today was first born as a bold idea inside a brave human mind that refused to settle for tiny ambitions. The crowd loves safe thinking. Safe thinking keeps people comfortable, but it also keeps them average. Average ideas create average businesses. Average effort creates average income. But bold thinking demands more. It asks difficult questions. It challenges old habits. It refuses to accept that things must remain the way they have always been. Great companies were built by bold thoughts. Great careers were built by bold decisions. Great lives were built by men and women who decided to think larger than their circumstances. You cannot reach extraordinary destinations with ordinary thoughts. The mind is like a powerful engine. If you feed it small fuel, it will produce small movement. If you feed it big visions and fearless goals, it will generate unstoppable energy. Every morning you choose the level of your thinking. You decide whether to approach the day as a frightened spectator or as a confident creator. That single decision, repeated over years, determines the size of your bank account and the height of your achievements. Bold thinking requires discipline. It requires the courage to ignore negative voices and doubtful opinions. It requires the strength to stand alone while others laugh at your ambitions. The world always doubts big dreamers in the beginning and applauds them in the end. Those who change industries and build fortunes are not smarter than everyone else. They simply refuse to think like everyone else. They stretch their imagination until it becomes stronger than their fears. Small thinking focuses on problems. Bold thinking focuses on possibilities. Small thinking asks whether something is safe. Bold thinking asks whether something is worthwhile. Small thinking waits for perfect conditions. Bold thinking creates conditions through action. The difference between a life of struggle and a life of abundance is often nothing more than the decision to think bigger and act braver and believe stronger than you ever have before. Train your mind to expect more from yourself. Stop shrinking your goals to fit your doubts. Start expanding your faith to fit your potential. The world is not crowded at the top because so few are willing to think at that level. Most people negotiate with their dreams until their dreams become small enough to feel comfortable. Bold thinkers refuse to make such bargains. They aim high and work hard and learn constantly and adjust quickly and move forward with determination. Every limit you accept becomes a wall around your future. Every bold idea you entertain becomes a door. Wealth flows toward those who believe they deserve to build it. Success follows those who dare to imagine it. The size of your thinking today is quietly designing the size of your life tomorrow. If you want larger results, you must develop larger thoughts. If you want greater income, you must cultivate greater expectations. The path to opportunity begins the moment a person decides to stop thinking small and begins to think with courage, with confidence, with vision, with relentless belief, and with the unshakable determination to rise far above the narrow borders of ordinary thinking and ordinary living and ordinary dreaming. Every rich life is built on decisions, not wishes. Wishing is easy. Dreaming is comfortable. Hoping requires no courage. But decisions demand responsibility, commitment, and action. The world is full of people who wish to be wealthy, successful, respected, and free. Very few ever become those things because they never move from wishing to deciding. A wish waits for something to happen. A decision makes something happen. Wealth never grows in the soil of hope alone. It grows in the firm ground of clear choices, followed by relentless effort carried out day after day without excuses. Most people confuse desire with decision. They say they want to be rich, yet they decide to remain comfortable. They say they want a better future, yet they decide to waste time. They say they want opportunity, yet they decide to avoid risk. A wish is a soft feeling. A decision is a hard commitment. The moment you truly decide, your behavior changes. Your priorities change. Your daily habits change. Money and success respond only to people who have crossed that invisible line between dreaming about a better life and deciding to build one with their own discipline. The reason many remain where they are is not lack of intelligence or talent. It is lack of decisive action. Life waits for no one. Opportunities pass quickly. The undecided mind lives in permanent hesitation. It delays important steps, postpones hard choices, and hides behind uncertainty. But every fortune in history was created by someone who reached a moment and said with absolute clarity that enough was enough and that a new direction would begin immediately without delay and without fear and without turning back to old habits. Decisions shape destiny. Each day you are quietly designing your financial future by the choices you make, to save or to spend, to learn or to waste time, to act or to procrastinate, to be disciplined or to be careless. These small decisions seem ordinary, but over months and years they become enormous. The rich life is not built in a single dramatic moment. It is built through thousands of firm decisions repeated consistently, while others remain trapped in endless wishing and empty planning that never touches reality. A wish waits for perfect conditions. A decision creates conditions. The person who waits for everything to feel safe will wait forever. The person who decides to move forward learns to adjust along the way. Courage is born the moment a decision is made. Confidence grows only after action begins. Money follows movement, not intention. The marketplace rewards people who commit themselves fully and refuse to live in the comfortable land of someday and maybe and one day soon. Indecision is one of the most expensive habits a human being can carry. It steals years of potential income. It destroys opportunities before they can grow. It turns capable people into spectators watching bolder individuals claim the rewards of life. The undecided mind asks for guarantees that do not exist. The decided mind accepts responsibility and moves ahead anyway. Great careers, great businesses, and great fortunes are all built by people who understood that hesitation is a luxury they could no longer afford. Many wait for motivation before they decide. Successful people decide first and let motivation follow. They understand that clarity creates energy. Once a person truly decides to become wealthy, disciplined, and focused, their entire world begins to reorganize around that choice. New habits are formed, new skills are learned, new relationships are built. Old distractions lose their power. A firm decision acts like a command given to the future, demanding that life begin to move in a new direction immediately. You cannot wish yourself into a higher income. You must decide to earn it. You cannot wish yourself into financial freedom. You must decide to manage money wisely. You cannot wish yourself into opportunity. You must decide to prepare and to act when the moment arrives. Every excuse you accept is simply a decision to remain the same. Every bold step you take is a decision to rise above the average crowd that talks much and does little. Look at the lives of those who have achieved great success and you will find a pattern. At some point they made a powerful internal decision that changed everything. They decided to stop living small. They decided to stop blaming circumstances. They decided to stop waiting for permission. That single choice became the turning point from which all progress began. From that moment forward, their actions aligned with their ambition and their results slowly but surely began to multiply. The pooh. Our mindset waits for luck. The rich mindset relies on decision. Luck may open a door, but only decision walks through it. Talent may create opportunity, but only decision turns opportunity into income. Knowledge may show the path, but only decision begins the journey. Without firm decisions, even the greatest potential remains unused and wasted and invisible to a world that rewards only those who choose clearly and act boldly. Today you stand at the same crossroads as every successful person who came before you. You can continue wishing for a better life, or you can decide to create one. The power has always been in your hands. The future belongs to those who stop negotiating with their fears and start making uncompromising decisions about their time, their habits, their goals, their standards, and their level of effort, and their commitment to excellence, and their refusal to remain ordinary, and their determination to build something real and valuable and lasting through deliberate choices, repeated with courage and discipline and unwavering focus, day after day after day. Fear and doubt are silent thieves of fortune. They do not announce themselves. They do not shout warnings. They enter quietly into the mind and begin stealing dreams, confidence, and opportunities, one small piece at a time. More futures have been destroyed by fear than by failure. More potential has been buried by doubt than by lack of talent or education. The greatest enemy you will ever fight is not outside of you. It lives inside your own thinking. The moment fear controls your decisions, your progress stops and your possibilities begin to shrink into a small, narrow life. Most people never become rich, not because they lack ability, but because they lack courage. They are afraid to begin, afraid to try, afraid to invest, afraid to believe in themselves. They allow doubt to speak louder than ambition. They wait for guarantees that success never gives. Wealth belongs to those who act in spite of uncertainty. Opportunity respects the person who moves forward even when the path is not perfectly clear. The world rewards the bold and ignores the timid who stand frozen at the starting line of their own potential. Fear convinces people to live below their capacity. It tells them to play safe, to stay comfortable, to avoid risks, to settle for less. Doubt whispers that they are not smart enough, not strong enough, not lucky enough. These lies sound reasonable to the untrained mind. But every great achievement in history was built by someone who refused to listen to those voices. Confidence is not the absence of fear. It is the decision to act even while fear is present. The brave do not wait to feel ready. They move forward and become ready through action. Doubt kills more dreams than hard work ever could. A person filled with doubt will sabotage his own future without even realizing it. He will hesitate when he should decide. He will retreat when he should advance. He will question himself until opportunity disappears. The rich mindset understands a powerful truth. Perfection is not required for progress. Waiting to feel completely confident is the fastest way to remain poor. Movement creates clarity. Action creates confidence. The first step destroys more fear than 1,000 hours of nervous thinking. Many people believe that successful individuals are never afraid. That belief is false. The difference is that successful people refuse to obey fear. They feel it, but they do not surrender to it. They understand that every new level of life demands a new level of courage. Starting a business is frightening. Investing money is uncomfortable. Chasing large goals feels risky. But remaining small is far more dangerous. The greatest risk of all is living an entire life controlled by doubts that were never challenged and fears that were never confronted. Fear steals time as well as fortune. It causes people to delay important decisions for years. It tells them to wait for better conditions that never arrive. While they hesitate, bolder individuals claim the rewards of the marketplace. Opportunities do not wait for frightened minds. They pass quickly to those who are prepared to act. The person who constantly asks what might go wrong rarely discovers what might go right. Courage opens doors that fear keeps permanently closed. Doubt also destroys discipline. When a person secretly doubts his own future, he loses the motivation to prepare for it. He stops learning, stops saving, stops improving. He convinces himself that effort is useless. This is how poverty grows quietly in the shadows of negative thinking. The confident mind invests in skills, knowledge, and action because it believes those efforts will be rewarded. Faith in oneself is not arrogance. It is a necessary foundation for every form of success. You cannot build wealth while being afraid of failure. Failure is not the enemy of fortune. Fear of failure is. Every successful person failed many times before succeeding. The difference is that they treated failure as a lesson instead of a life sentence. Doubt tells a person to quit after one setback. Courage tells a person to stand up and try again with greater wisdom. The road to riches is filled with mistakes corrected by persistence and faith in eventual victory. The world belongs to those who control their inner voices. When fear speaks, answer it with preparation and action. When doubt appears, silence it with discipline and results. Confidence grows only through repeated effort. The more you act, the less power fear has over your future. The more you learn and improve, the smaller doubt becomes. Every bold step forward weakens the chains of hesitation that hold ordinary people in ordinary lives. Understand clearly that fear and doubt will never disappear on their own. They must be challenged daily. They must be confronted with decisions and work and determination. Waiting for them to vanish is the same as waiting for poverty to magically turn into wealth. Strength is built only by doing what frightens you. Financial power is built only by thinking bigger than your anxieties. Freedom is created by those who refuse to allow invisible emotions to dictate visible results. Train your mind to be braver than your feelings. Refuse to let small worries steal great possibilities. Replace hesitation with action. Replace insecurity with preparation. Replace doubt with persistent effort. The moment you stop obeying fear, your entire life begins to expand in new directions filled with opportunities that were always there waiting for a courageous mind, willing to rise above uncertainty, and step forward again and again into larger dreams and larger challenges and larger victories still waiting ahead. Focused action beats scattered talent every time. Talent without direction is like a powerful engine with no steering wheel. It makes noise, burns energy, and goes nowhere important. The world is filled with gifted people who achieve very little because they never learn to concentrate their efforts. At the same time, ordinary people with clear focus and relentless discipline rise to extraordinary heights. Success does not belong to the most talented. It belongs to the most focused. The person who masters attention and action will always defeat the person who only possesses ability but lacks control and commitment. Most failures in life are not caused by lack of skill, they are caused by lack of focus. People start many things and finish nothing. They chase every new idea and abandon every old plan. Their energy is scattered in 100 different directions. They mistake movement for progress. They stay busy but never become productive. Focused action is different. It selects a target and moves toward it every single day without distraction. It refuses to be pulled away by comfort, boredom, or the opinions of others who have no clear direction of their own. The marketplace rewards depth, not on fusion. A person who concentrates on one craft becomes valuable. A person who jumps from opportunity to opportunity remains average. The ability to stay focused when the work becomes hard is what separates winners from dreamers. Anyone can be excited in the beginning. Anyone can talk about big plans. Very few can remain steady when enthusiasm fades. Focus is not emotional excitement. Focus is disciplined loyalty to a goal long after the original motivation has disappeared. Scattered talent looks impressive for a moment but produces little in the long run. A man may have intelligence, creativity, and energy, yet if he cannot aim those qualities at a single purpose, he will struggle all his life. Focused action turns even small ability into great achievement. Repeated effort in one direction builds momentum that cannot be stopped. Every hour invested with purpose becomes a brick in the structure of success. Every distracted hour becomes a missed opportunity that never returns. Distraction is the silent enemy of achievement. Modern life constantly invites the mind to wander. Endless information, entertainment, and opinions pull attention in every direction. The person who cannot control focus becomes a servant of noise and confusion. The person who protects focus becomes a master of results. Wealth and accomplishment demand concentration. They demand the ability to say no to unimportant things so that energy can be given fully to what truly matters. Many people believe they need more talent to succeed. In truth, most only need more focus. The disciplined individual who studies one field, improves one skill, and serves one market will rise higher than the unfocused genius who never commits to anything completely. Focus creates power because it multiplies effort. A little work done consistently in one direction becomes unstoppable over time. A lot of work scattered randomly becomes invisible and wasted. Focused action also builds confidence. When a person sees steady progress toward a clear goal, belief grows naturally. Doubt fades. Momentum increases. The scattered mind lives in constant frustration because it never stays with anything long enough to see real results. The focused mind experiences victory after victory, each one reinforcing the habit of disciplined attention. Success is not a mystery. It is the natural outcome of concentrated effort applied long enough to overcome obstacles and resistance. Excuses disappear in the presence of focus. The focused person does not have time to complain. He is too busy building. He does not search for reasons why something cannot be done. He searches for ways to do it better and faster. While others debate and hesitate, he acts. While others talk about their potential, he turns potential into performance. This is why focused action always defeats scattered talent. The world pays for completed tasks, not for unused ability. Every great achievement in history was built by focused effort. Inventions, businesses, careers, and fortunes were not created by people who tried to do everything at once. They were created by individuals who aimed their energy at one objective and refused to be distracted. They understood that mastery requires repetition, patience, and undivided attention. They learned to guard their time and their thoughts like valuable treasures. If you want to change your life, change the way you use your focus. Decide what truly matters and give it your full attention. Stop dividing your energy among countless meaningless activities. Choose a direction and stay loyal to it. Small daily actions aimed at a clear goal will outperform grand plans that are never executed. Consistency beats intensity when intensity is not focused. The person who keeps moving steadily in one direction eventually leaves the confused crowd far behind. The future belongs to those who can concentrate in a distracted world. It belongs to those who wake up each day with a clear purpose and refuse tea or be pulled away from it. Talent may open the door, but focus walks through it and builds something lasting. Ability may attract attention, but focused action creates results that cannot be ignored. Great lives are not built by scattered efforts. They are built by disciplined minds that know exactly what they want and pursue it with unwavering determination and organized effort and unbreakable concentration and the daily courage to keep working on one meaningful goal until it finally becomes real and powerful and undeniable in a world that rewards those who learn to focus instead of wander and to act instead of dream and to persist instead of drift. Habits, not hope, decide financial destiny. Hope sounds beautiful, but hope alone has never paid a bill, built a business, or created a fortune. People love to hope because hoping is comfortable. Hoping requires no discipline, no sacrifice, and no effort. But habits demand action. Habits demand responsibility. Habits demand that you show up every single day, whether you feel like it or not. The difference between the wealthy and the struggling is not luck, not background, not education. It is the daily habits they repeat without exception and without excuse. Your financial future is being shaped right now by the small things you do automatically. How you spend money, how you spend time, how you treat opportunities, how you respond to problems. These simple routines decide everything. A person who hopes to be rich but wastes money will remain poor. A person who hopes for success but wastes hours will never rise. Hope dreams about tomorrow. Habits build tomorrow with focused action performed today with consistency and seriousness. Most people live their lives waiting for something to change while refusing to change themselves. They hope for better income but keep careless spending habits. They hope for promotion but never improve their skills. They hope for opportunity but sleep late and waste evenings. This is the language of defeat. Wealth does not respond to what you wish. It responds to what you repeatedly do. The man who saves a little every month becomes strong. The woman who learns a little every day becomes valuable. These habits look ordinary, but they quietly create extraordinary results over time. Financial destiny is not decided in big dramatic moments. It is decided in small invisible choices. The decision to read instead of scroll. The decision to work instead of procrastinate. The decision to invest instead of spend. The decision to plan instead of guess. These actions repeated for years create a powerful life. On the other hand, careless habits repeated for years create stress, debt, and regret. The future never lies. It simply delivers the consequences of your daily behavior with absolute honesty and fairness. Hope waits for miracles. Habits create miracles through discipline. A person who hopes to be fit but eats poorly will never change. A person who hopes to be wealthy but spends foolishly will never escape struggle. Success obeys laws. One of those laws is consistency. Money flows toward people who manage it wisely and regularly. Opportunity flows toward people who prepare themselves steadily. Confidence flows toward people who keep promises to themselves day after day after day without emotional excuses. Good habits are not glamorous. They are often boring and repetitive. That is why so few people master them. It is easier to dream than to wake up early. It is easier to talk about success than to work for it. It is easier to blame circumstances than to control behavior. But the marketplace does not reward ease. It rewards discipline. The person who builds strong habits becomes unstoppable because habits remove the need for motivation. They turn productive behavior into automatic routine. Bad habits are expensive. They steal money, time, and potential. Overspending, procrastinating, complaining, and avoiding responsibility feel harmless in the moment, but for years they build prisons around a life. Good habits do the opposite. Saving, learning, planning, and working with focus slowly create freedom. The rich life is nothing more than a collection of disciplined routines practiced long enough to produce visible rewards. Anyone can develop these routines, but few are willing to pay the small daily price. You do not need to be extraordinary to become wealthy. You only need to be consistent. Ordinary actions repeated faithfully become extraordinary outcomes. The person who improves 1% each day eventually leaves the careless crowd far behind. While others depend on luck, the disciplined individual depends on habits. While others hope for breaks, the disciplined individual builds skills. While others dream of a better future, the disciplined individual constructs a better future piece by piece. Every morning your habits begin speaking on your behalf. They announce to the world whether you are serious or lazy, organized or careless, focused or distracted. Money and opportunity listen carefully to that message. They move toward the person whose routines prove responsibility. They avoid the person whose routines reveal chaos. Life does not judge intentions, it judges patterns. What you do occasionally does not matter. What you do consistently decides everything. If you want a different financial destiny, you must design different habits. Stop waiting for motivation and start creating routines. Pay yourself first. Learn before you relax. Finish tasks instead of delaying them. Protect your time instead of wasting it. These simple disciplines repeated without fail will transform any life. The power is not in one heroic effort. The power is in steady behavior carried out when no one is watching and when no applause is offered. Understand clearly that tomorrow will not rescue you from today's habits. The future will only multiply them. Strong habits make a strong future inevitable. Weak habits make struggle inevitable. No amount of hope can defeat careless routines. No amount of wishing can replace disciplined action. The wise person stops negotiating with comfort and begins building systems that guarantee progress. From this moment forward, stop trusting hope and start trusting habits. Let your daily actions speak louder than your desires. Become a person who saves automatically, learns constantly, works faithfully, and improves deliberately. Build routines that pull you toward prosperity instead of pushing you toward regret. Every sunrise gives you another chance to practice the behaviors that shape your destiny, another opportunity to choose discipline over delay, another moment to prove through action that your future will be built, not by what you hope for, but by what you consistently do and continue to do with focus and responsibility and determination, without ever returning to the easy, comfortable habits that once held you back. A determined mind will always out-earn an undecided one. decision is the starting point of all achievement. Money does not follow wishes, it follows clarity. The person who knows exactly what he wants and commits to it with full force will rise far above the person who hesitates, delays, and waits for perfect conditions. Life rewards certainty. Opportunity respects confidence. Wealth moves toward those who make firm choices and refuse to live in the fog of indecision. The undecided mind drifts through years. The determined mind builds a future brick by brick with purpose and discipline. Most people remain average not because they lack talent, but because they lack decision. They stand at the door of opportunity and debate too long. They analyze every risk until the moment disappears. They ask for guarantees that success never provides. While they are thinking and worrying, the determined person has already taken action. Income belongs to those who move quickly and boldly. The marketplace does not pay for hesitation. It pays for execution. REIT fortune was built by someone who reached a point and decided clearly that ordinary living was no longer acceptable. Indecision is expensive. It steals time, energy, and confidence. It turns months into years and years into regret. A man who cannot decide what he wants will accept whatever life gives him. A woman who refuses to choose a direction will wander in circles. The determined mind behaves differently. It selects a goal and organizes life around it. It wakes up with intention. It works with urgency. It ignores distractions and focuses on results. That focus attracts promotions, raises, businesses, and opportunities that never appear to the confused and uncertain. Money respects direction. It flows toward people who are decisive with their plans and disciplined with their actions. The undecided person changes goals every season and wonders why nothing grows. The determined person plants one seed and waters it daily until it becomes a harvest. Success does not require perfect choices. It requires firm choices followed by consistent effort. Even a simple plan executed with determination will outperform a brilliant plan that remains trapped inside a doubtful mind. Confidence is born from decision. The moment a person decides to become more, he begins to act differently. He manages time better. He learns new skills. He stops wasting energy on small, unimportant things. The undecided individual lives controlled by moods and circumstances. The determined individual lives guided by purpose. That difference alone separates poverty from prosperity. Employers promote decisive workers. Customers trust decisive leaders. Investors support decisive thinkers. The world naturally gathers around those who know where they are going. Every day presents a choice between determination and delay. The undecided mind searches for reasons to wait. The determined mind searches for ways to begin. One asks whether the time is right. The other makes the time right. One fears mistakes. The other understands that action corrects mistakes. This simple contrast explains why some people climb steadily upward while others remain trapped on the same financial level for decades. Income grows only where decisions are made quickly and backed by persistent work. Indecision disguises itself as caution. People call it being careful, but in truth it is often fear wearing a polite mask. Fear of failure, fear of criticism, fear of responsibility. These fears shrink earning power because they prevent bold moves. The determined mind refuses to be ruled by such emotions. It understands that every reward in life requires courage. Starting a business requires courage. Asking for better pay requires courage. Investing money requires courage. Those who cannot decide to be brave decide instead to remain small without ever admitting it to themselves. The person who earns the most is rarely the smartest. He is simply the most decisive. He chooses a path and walks it with stubborn persistence. While others complain about the economy, he adjusts and keeps moving. While others wait for motivation, he acts without it. Determination turns ordinary ability into extraordinary results because it multiplies effort over long periods of time. Indecision wastes ability because it scatters energy and prevents momentum from ever developing. Every hour you delay an important decision, you give your future away. Every day you postpone commitment, you surrender income that could have been earned. Life never waits patiently for hesitant people to feel ready. It moves forward with those who are bold enough to move with it. The determined mind understands this truth and refuses to live as a spectator. It steps onto the field of action while the undecided remain in the stands discussing what might happen someday. Great rewards belong to those who choose quickly and adjust along the way. Perfection is not required. Certainty is not required. Only decision is required. The first step, C, creates clarity. The second step creates momentum. The third step creates confidence. Before long, determination becomes a habit, and income begins to rise naturally. Opportunities appear because action attracts them. People follow because they admire resolve. Wealth grows because it is drawn to strong, purposeful thinking. Train yourself to decide without fear. Build the habit of commitment. Finish what you start. Choose goals and refuse to abandon them. Speak with confidence and act with speed. The world is crowded with talented, undecided people who will never earn what they deserve. It has plenty of room at the top for determined individuals who are willing to take responsibility for their choices and their future and their daily effort and their ultimate success through unwavering resolve and disciplined action and the relentless courage to decide clearly again and again and again. Remember this: the life you desire will never come to those who wait, wish, or hesitate. Every fortune, every achievement, every breakthrough begins with a single decisive action. Decisions shape destiny, habits build it, and courage drives it forward. Fear may whisper, doubt may linger, and distractions may tempt you, but none of them can stop a mind that is committed fully to its purpose. Stand firm, act boldly, and refuse to settle for mediocrity. Your tomorrow will reflect the decisions you make today. Choose decisively, work relentlessly, and rise without apology, for a determined mind always claims what the undecided only dreams of